guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming. And something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. I'm going to save the Patreon stuff for the end of the video. Anyway, Alarm Chain, you are up, and let's go. There we go. Okay. One of y'all said be honest with him, so let's be honest with... There we go. Speak the truth. Jaws, even before you had finished your sentence, Leandros was already shaking you, his eyes showing a fierceness that you knew you could never calm. He did what? He glared at you, almost through you. His fangs were now bared, and a low growl resonated from within his chest. His claws slowly started to dig into your arms, and you winced at the pain, though he didn't even seem to notice. If you didn't know any better, it was you he was going to attack. You gulped hard, frightened as to just what he was going to do. Just what? There was no denying that he was going to do more than just slap Jaws' wrist were you to say anything more. He was tightly grabbing onto your arm now, and you nearly buckled as the pain grew. Leon, it hurts! What? You're hurting me! You were nearly twisting in his grasp, trying to get him to release you. He let go immediately. He inspected your arm where a few pinpricks of blood oozed out from where his claws had broke through skin. I hurt you again. All because I couldn't control myself. I'm sorry, Jake. All I want to do is protect you, yet I continue to harm you. You're in danger around me. You're in danger when we are apart. I don't know what to do anymore. Leandros, I'm okay. It was an accident. I know you didn't mean to. I called you over because I needed you. You needed me? I don't know what happened, but something weird is going on here. Jaws and I don't know how to put this. Jaws? He's not here. He didn't hurt you, did he? No. Then... Leandros took a few steps away from you and he knelt down by the sand. It was clear to see that the two of you got into a fight. The sand was shifted every which way. He scooped up the charred portion where the blade had rested and let it sift through his fingers. Explaining what happened there would be difficult. What were the two of you doing? It was nothing. He just found my blade while out in the ocean. We just sort of... Listen, please don't hurt him, alright? What do you mean, don't hurt him? Jake, this is serious. Are you defending him for something that he did? It wasn't him. I don't know what it was, but... Jake, what did he do? Promise me you won't hurt him. You keep saying that, but now I'm going to be led to believe that he really did do something to you. This char in the sand, and signs of a struggle. Leon just reached for the blade at his side and slowly started to unsheath it. Jake, if he hurts you in any way, he will not get away with it. Then what about you? What? You attacked me too, but I had faith in you. I knew you weren't yourself. So please, just don't hurt him. Your legs gave way and you fell to your knees. I don't know what happened to him, but he's not a bad person. He gave us food, shelter, a place to sleep. When he found me on the beach, he could have hurt me or kidnapped me or whatever, but he helped me. Just as he helped you. Could you harm someone who helped save your life? That's different. This is you we are talking about. The King of Yasan. It is the highest offense to even threaten you. That should be for me to decide then. And besides, I'm not the one who got hurt. That wasn't Jaws. Even if you still barely knew him, that wasn't him. It's like, water time. Just like with Leandros, just like with yourself at the coronation, something out of your control compelled the two of you to act the way you did. Alright. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but only because of the kindness that he showed us. Leon. But don't think this means that I trust him. Many people will use you if it means that they have something to gain. For starters, I'll need to find out where he went and ask him why he came after you. I'll have a clearer idea from that, and then... You better not hurt him. Jake, I can't promise anything. Leandros stuck out his hand, lifted you to your feet, and helped brush off any sand. Thank you. You really won't do anything rash, right? If he really is who you say he is, then I won't have anything to worry about. So then, I assume he jumped into the ocean. You nodded. Alright. With the current, he's likely further south, but I can smell a very slight charred scent coming from down there, a bit fishy as well. The two of you continued down the beach in silence. It was only a short walk away, but again you found Jaws' unique footprint in the sand leading out from the water. He was held a short distance away, shivering. Stay here. No, I'm going too. Not until I can tell that he's safe. He might have caught Red Sea. He's already had it once before. You can't get it again. Still, I'll stay right behind you, okay? Don't get close to him until I determine it is safe. Understand? He merely nodded and Leandros started forth. As you approached, Jaws was cowering on the beach, cradling one of his hands in the other. He was whimpering like a dog. A man like him broken down like this? whatever the hell happened just wasn't normal. Jaws, we need to talk. Jaws looked up at Leandros and a woeful weep came out of his mouth. He took one look at you and started to back up. Hold! Explain yourself! Why did you attack Jake? Despite Leandros' harsh words, Jaws ignored him and kept his eyes on you. He continued to slowly back up, not as Leandros approached, but as you did. For the love of... Answer me! Leandros! He put an arm on the line. He was shivering as well, but backed down. Jaws looked harmless right now, even for a man like him. He stepped forward. Jaws, it's alright now. I don't know what happened back there. It's still confusing to me as well, but I need you to tell me what happened. Tell us. I'm sorry. A low growl rumbled within Leandros' throat. We're not looking for an apology. Leandros, calm down. Jaws, when I was near the blade, I felt strange. You felt that too, right? A strange urge that just overcame me. It whispered. What? It wouldn't stop whispering to me. It spoke to you? What did it say? You knew he was talking about the blade to your side. He seemed more afraid of the seemingly innocuous object at your side than he was about the large lion man all ready to pounce with claws and fangs. It wanted blood. More blood. Jake's blood. My blood? Jaws nodded. But why? I don't know. He looked down at the blade and started to unsheath it. No! Not again! You quickly slid it back into its holster before you scared off Jaws again. So what you're saying is that it told you to attack Jake? It promised to grant me all my desires. It showed me visions of a future with Ayana. But I said no. I could never harm Jake, no matter the reason. Then it became angry. My mind started to fade. My blood felt like it was boiling. I couldn't stop. My body moved. I didn't want this. I begged it to stop. Unbelievable. A sword told you to attack Jake? If you think for 1 minute that, Leandros, you said you would reserve your judgment until after we learned the whole truth. What more is there to learn? He claims a sword of all things told him to attack you. He's either a liar or a lunatic, and I'll not let him attack you again. He's not lying. What? He's telling the truth. And I'm not saying that to defend him. I felt it too. When we were fighting on the beach, the moment my hand touched the blade, something changed within me. I wasn't myself. My thoughts weren't my own. I couldn't control myself. I wanted to hurt him back. I don't know why, but there's something off about this blade. Something that I couldn't explain. And back home during the coronation, when the assassins attacked, I noticed there was something off about it then. I thought it was my imagination, but it seemed to glow and grow hot. Just as it did on the beach, where it burned Jaws. The three of you looked at the shark whose hands were clearly charred and blistering. You winced at how much pain he was in and likely currently in. But I don't know why now, of all times, it did this. Why it turned up and started to control us. Jaws, you found this in the sea, correct? Was there anything that you can remember doing before or after you picked it up? No. I was just swimming, then I saw it. It was entangled in seaweed, and I went to pull it free. Then, it all becomes a blur. When I came to, I saw you coming towards me, then nothing. This is ridiculous. You're just making stuff up. Did any blood touch this weapon? I don't know. Maybe. When I pulled it free. It was stuck in there tight. I might have cut myself. I suppose it'd be difficult to tell. You have tons of scars all over your body, and I imagine your wound would have closed up by now if it was just a small nick. Jake, don't buy into this kind of... Leandros! I believe him, alright? Just drop it. I've already seen more than my fair share of dubious things lately. If you asked me a few weeks ago that magic and talking swords exist, I would never have believed you. Seems like things like this are becoming quite common around me lately. Besides, I seem to remember Marilyn and Esther both saying something about this sword, that it talks to its owner. But if that's the case, then perhaps this really does belong to Jaws. No, I don't want it! Feels like a stretch, but maybe it's blood that makes it wake up and go berserk or something. So then what you're suggesting is that this thing is possessed by a demon or something. Perhaps? Maybe Jaws became possessed by the sword when it touched his blood. That sounds like rubbish. But what if it's real? Well, if that ended up being the case, then you should just drop it and bury it in the sand. As Leandros tried to reach for the blade, you nearly lost consciousness. Your ears were burning, your body started to shake. You felt afraid, so very afraid. Instinctively, you reacted, sliding out of Leandros' reach as though his mere touch was enough to kill you. Jake, what are you doing? You reached out again, and this time you nearly tripped over yourself, leaping backwards. You started to sweat, your entire body shivering. You wanted to run far away. Never had you felt more afraid in your life. Jake, enough with the games. Give me the blade. It's not me. I'm not trying to move. What are you saying? Give it here. No! Jake. You didn't know what had come over you. As soon as Leandros started to back up, you felt your heartbeat begin to settle again. The blade at your side felt hot, and the fear of being separated from it began to fade. Silence between the three of you was only broken by Jaws' quivering voice. It was you that it wanted. It was never me it wanted. It used me to get back to you. And now that it has returned, it just wants one last thing. You could feel it deep down inside, what it wanted. Even though its own wants and desires were etched right into the blade. My blood. You couldn't deny the temptation of finding out if his sword would really start talking to you. It was almost as though it were stuck in some deep slumber, just waiting to be awoken. Just a tiny nick was all it was asking for, a pint or two. It wasn't asking for much after all. You shook your head. These thoughts weren't your own. This thing was cursed, using you like a puppet for its own plan you didn't want any part of. Yet you couldn't help but hold it close. You couldn't willingly leave it behind. Jake, please, tell me you are playing a prank. Jake, tell me that's you. Leon, it's me. I'm sorry. You could tell Leandros wanted to approach, but the fear of what happened kept him at bay. Please, if it really is controlling you, throw it away, I'm begging you. I don't think I can. For now, I'll just keep it sealed. I think as long as it is never used, it will never do that again. Are you sure? Despite everything that had happened, the oppressive presence of the blade was starting to vanish from your mind. You don't know how, but you could almost feel its power weakening. Yes, as long as it never touches blood, we should be fine. You weren't even certain if you could believe your own words. But as scared as you were right now, Jaws was still injured. For now, would you mind helping Jaws? Please. Leandros stayed silent, then reached out a hand towards Jaws. The shark was reluctant to take it. His eyes looked to you for advice. It was as though you were staring at a lost child. Whatever this blade did, it did more than just control him. It's all right now. He turned back to Leandros and was helped back onto his feet. As you took a closer look at Jaws' hand, you could tell it was severely burnt. His skin was charred and blistered and started to flake off. If he had let go a moment later, if you were close to the water, who knew what would have happened. The three of you ventured back to the village in search of Iana. He remained silent and stunned the entire way, not even flinching when Iana came forth to embrace him. You couldn't even imagine what was going through his head right now for him to ignore her. The whole ordeal had crushed his spirit. Iana got to work the moment Jaws was laid down to rest in her home. She slathered some kind of salve on his hands and wrapped it up tight with leaves. She worked without even realizing there were others still in the room, giving the shark her full attention even more so than she did with Leandros. When she was done, she turned towards the two of you with pursed lips and held up an herb. She still didn't say a word, but Leandros took the hint. He grabbed you by the arm and led you out of the house to gather more plants for her healing salve. The two of you traveled through the village and back into the jungle, keeping a lookout for the right plants. It was a nice change of pace and it helped take your mind off the cursed blade at your side. Leandros, on the other hand, was stuck up just staring at some herb, taking his time before slowly picking it up. Leandros. Huh? He'll be okay. Leandros carefully examined the green herb in his hand before he tossed it aside, realizing he had picked the wrong one. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. I got to head to work. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Alright, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!